Hi everybody, welcome to our second video in week 3 of data journalism. We have a few more tools to cover on our Digging for Data handout, which is right up here. We covered that in video 1. I've highlighted some of those that I've covered here, just so you guys have a good feel for what we covered. There's others in here too that you can play around with. Our World in Data was one of them we covered, so I'll highlight that. Now here in the second part is at the top of page 2 of that handout, I'm going to cover data portals, U.S. data portals, and the City of Chicago data portal. Okay, and all of these portals are data portals and data search tools. Will help you do the Digging for Data handout, the data acquisition handout that assignment that we're going to go through here in a little bit. So make sure you have the Digging for Data handout open and go down here to where it says Data Portals. And click on those two links and the City of Chicago data portal. Dataportals.org is a giant database of data portals from all over the world, almost 600 of them in here. And you can look them up, by the map by clicking on them, and it'll distribute them by country, which is kind of cool. You can kind of pick down closer, and here it lists the Le Mans data catalog, from France, so some really cool different things here that you can go through, and you can click on some of these other countries too and see their data portals listed. You also can search them. They're all listed in here, and they go all the way down to like the local level, Ann Arbor, Michigan, small ones in small cities in South Africa, Australia data, all kinds of stuff. So you can scroll through them in alphabetical order, and they're also searchable. Again, if you're unfamiliar with a certain part of the country and you're looking for a data set from, Ireland or something like that, and a Google search isn't producing much, try going into dataportals.org. It's just a big, giant database of data portals all over the world. This next one is the U.S. data portals. It comes from the Sunlight Foundation. They have a GitHub page. Notice the GitHub address up here. I mentioned that in our last video. It's a place where a lot of people that work in data store data and store materials and things like that they use to build graphics. And the Sunlight Foundation did a really nice job of setting up U.S., state, and local, regional as well. Data hubs here. It has links to them over here. Unfortunately, they're not clickable. So if I want, the Boston GIS data hub, GIS is a mapping element, so shape files of like all the neighborhoods and stuff like that. In Boston, you can call it up by just cutting and pasting the link out of there. It's a bit of a hassle, but as you'll see here, you've got Chicago's Metro listed, and Metro Chicago data.cityofchicago.org, which we're going to look at in a minute. It also has stuff for Illinois listed in here. It has our state data portal, and as well as a few others. You'll see the Department of Public Health for some states in here. It kind of varies by state or by entity. So sometimes you see it at the state level, sometimes you see it at the county or the city level as well. Again, just a good reference. Same with dataportals.org for global data. This one is more U.S. focused. I do have another link. This will be linked off your syllabus. This is the COM240 dataset directory. Be very careful with this. Do not share it outside of our class. This is part of a book I'm writing on data journalism that'll be out on Routledge in 2023. It lists all kinds of different government agencies from all over the world in here. And you'll see the name goes down here, the web address here, which will be clickable very shortly, all of those. And then a description of what you can find in there, or maybe a tip on what you can download out of there, which is really good. So you can go to something like the Bureau of Justice Statistics and go to their capital punishment page here. It has national and state level data, counts of people that have been put on death row. And then there's also a database on prisoners executed. So you can go back from years ago and see in individual states how many prisoners have been executed, and sort and filter that data, see which states have the toughest capital punishment laws because they regularly execute people that have been convicted and sentenced to death. All kinds of just really fascinating stuff in here. Airport wait times, all kinds of fun stuff in here that government agencies keep track of. So again, this will be linked off of both your Digging for Data handout and the syllabus on page under week 3. I'll have it listed there as well. Okay, so the last one we want to look at is the star of the show. This is the City of Chicago Data Portal. Little history with this. This was part of development with Mayor Rahm Emanuel when he was mayor here. They started to build this out in 2011 and 2012. What he did was he hired a lot of people that had worked on the Obama campaign, and they were unemployed because Obama had been reelected in 2012, so they had nothing to do. So they came to Chicago, worked for Rahm Emanuel, and built the City of Chicago Data Portal. There were many others too that contributed to this, but a lot of the people that were ones that had worked on the Obama campaign. This data portal has all kinds of spreadsheets and shape files and information about the city in it. City budgets in here, how many potholes have been repaired around the city, 311 complaints, restaurant inspections, food inspections, all kinds of transportation data, wait times at CTA stops and things like that. They're broken down roughly into some categories down here. They do highlight a few up here. This one that's highlighted up the top right now, 311 service requests. That's people have called 311 to complain about something, graffiti on the side of their building or a street light's out or something like that. Crime data, there's traffic crashes in here. You can look, it says every traffic crash that's resulted in damage since 2015. There is a huge crime database in here that goes back all the way to 2000. I wouldn't advise trying to download every crime since 2000 in Chicago because that data set will crash your computer. But there are some, that are broken out into little shorter, broken down by type of crime, homicides, and so on that you can download. I mentioned shape files earlier. Those are found under geographic boundaries. These are things like, boundaries of all the neighborhoods in Chicago, which they call community areas. If you want to see all the census tracts from 2010, they don't have 2020 in here yet. It's interesting. All of the zip codes. If you want a map that has the shape of all the zip codes on it, and you want to be able to drop in some data on, vaccinations per Chicago zip code, this is a shape file that you can go and pull out of there. They're typically called KML files, keyhole markup language files. And you can go in here and click on them and download them. When we get into mapping later in the semester with Google My Maps, we'll actually download some of this out of here and we'll build some shapes with it. It also has things like bus routes. All the CTA train routes are in here. They'll have the yellow line, the orange line, the pink line, blue line, so on. All in there. So these shape files are always quite interesting. You can go through here and develop all kinds of story ideas. You can go and look at buildings, for instance. And God, what would be an interesting problem landlord list? Where are all the properties around Chicago that are owned or run by problem landlords, and what are the complaints against them? Building violations. Man, I want to know, if the building I'm working in has a bunch of safety violations in it. It's right here. Building permits, have there been certain parts of the city where they've been denying a lot of building permits? Maybe the south and west sides, which has been the case in the past. All kinds of other ones in here. Elevator inspections, all kinds of things like that. I want to know if I'm getting on an elevator right, if it's been inspected on time or not. All kinds of things regarding buildings. We actually looked into this, some of the building inspections of some of the entertainment venues around Chicago, because places like the Aragon Theater, the Rib, they're very old. When's the last time they inspected the balconies there? Things like that. Structural supports, fire escapes, Does it have proper ventilation in it, which is big right now, especially during a pandemic. You can download the city budget here, all kinds of things. Let's look at a few other places. Public safety is a good one to look at. And I'll show you how to download some of these. This is the one you don't want to touch. Crime 2001 to present. It'll crash your dashboard or crash your computer. Instead, you want to search for a specific crime up here, Chicago homicides and then the year. Here's a listing of all the police stations and all the fire stations. So, you could map that, all the locations of them. Chicago sex offenders database, which is usually very incomplete because a lot of them lie about their addresses. But you could map areas where all the sex offenders live, and are they within 300 yards of a school? If so, it is against the law for them to live within 300 yards of a school. So something to look at. Here's the breakdowns of ones that you probably could download. Crimes by year. These are smaller data sets. Instead of trying to download 20 years of crimes, you can also find more specific, homicides, different types of, robbery, theft, petty theft, things like that in here as well. Complaints against officers, victims of homicides and non-fatal shootings. This is a very popular one. So there's a lot of crime data in here that's readily available. Number of arrests, things like that. All of this goes into a spreadsheet. Every repair around the city, they have to document everything because it's our tax dollars that are going to pay for it. If you look under transportation, you'll see some interesting ones. Traffic crashes, towed vehicles. Man, what part of downtown, what's the worst street to park on downtown and have your vehicle towed? A lot of times they're along the snow routes and close to the hotels where the tourist parks there and gets his car towed. It's part of the way the city generates revenue. City light camera or red light camera violations. This is very controversial. This is under Rahm Emanuel. The red light cameras, maybe you've been caught by one of them, running a red light there. You can see which intersections had the most violations. You can download these. So you can go in and, speed light camera locations. Ooh, boy, that would be a good one. It'd be a little shape file and little pinpoints that they have here. You can go in, you can view the data. It does give you a little map too that you can download as well. Most of these give you longitude and latitude and things like that. And to download it, all you do is go in here and click down to the data level and hit export. It'll give you a choice of how you want to export it, what format. For a basic spreadsheet like this, CSV or CSV for Excel, either one. CSV is kind of nice because it's versatile. And it downloads to my download folder. It's that simple. It's not a hard concept, to pull data off of a data portal. Pretty easy to do. They put it up there because they want you to pull it. And here it is. This is a list of all the Chicago speed camera locations, and I'll just drop it into Microsoft Excel here, and it's got longitude and latitude. I could drop that into a Google map and it'd have pinpoints all over, and here's the street addresses. Maps will also read pinpoint or street addresses. When was it, first approach and second approach, where's it located, southbound, westbound traffic. How long has it been live? What date did it go live? Some of these have been up for 7-8 years now. Pretty good little data set there, pretty widely used too. Those are some of the key data sets that you can pull. We've got a whole list of them here on the different data portals and places you can go to pull data. So what I want you to do now is to go into your syllabus, and right here we have Digging for Data assignment sheet. Go ahead and click on that, open it up. This is your data acquisition assignment, the Digging for Data assignment. I'll put that in parentheses, Digging for Data. Okay, I want you to hit pause right now. Read through this. It's due Friday, January 28th at noon. Read through, especially this first part, really important. What you need to pull and how you need to turn it in right here. That's key. So hit pause, read through this document. It's a couple pages long, and then we'll get started again. All right, welcome back. By now, you should have read through the assignment. Basically, we're asking you to pull 4 data sets. You don't have to do anything with them. You don't have to visualize them. You don't have to build a graphic with them. That comes later, okay? We're going to ask you to pull 1 data set from Chicago, from the City of Chicago data portal, okay? Another one could come from a state or a regional portal. Some of the state of Illinois data shows up in the Chicago data portal. We also have a couple of them here from, let's see. We have Cook County and state of Illinois data portals. You can find statewide data in there, number of highway patrol arrests, things like that, or, people busted speeding on the interstates and things like that. So one from a state or regional portal. It can even be another state, Indiana if you wanted to do that. Find something that's international or at least federal. Use data.gov to find something there. Data.gov would be a good source to go to. One of the US data portals would be good. Dataportals.org might produce a good international database. Remember too, Google Dataset Search, which I showed you in the first video, would be a good source for that. If you're looking for number of COVID vaccinations in Dublin, Ireland, you can go out and search for that, in Dataset Search. Data.gov has a lot of federal public records. So something at the national or international level that you think might make for a good story. And then the last one would be off of either ProPublica's Form 990s database or GuideStar. Pick a nonprofit organization, some charity, preferably something Illinois-based or something you're familiar with, and pull their Form 990. I showed you how to download the spreadsheets out of there, and you can download it and then start a Google Doc and write a paragraph or 2 about each one of these, about what you think you might find in it. You don't have to, it can be a hypothesis. We talked about the process, having an idea going in of what you think you'll find in the data, having a hypothesis. So be a short explanation just about why you chose the data set. And attach that as well to the email. So you'll have 5 things, these 4 data sets, and you do have to download the data sets. Don't send me a link to it. You have to download them. Take a look at them and then tell me what you think is newsworthy about that. What do you think you could do with it? I think I could dig into this and find a high amount of potholes on the west side of the city of Chicago, or a high amount of carjackings on the northwest side of the city, and so on and so on. Just give me an idea of what you think you would find going into it. We'll do the sorting and filtering and hard work with it later on, but for now, we just want you pulling data sets, learning how to find them, pull them, something that you think would be newsworthy or of value to the reader. Do open them up and look through them. The Form 990s are worth looking through. I showed you how to kind of break one down and look at the finances a little bit, revenues and expenditures, and what the officials are making, if they don't have a voluntary board. Think about ideas. I've had people come up with project ideas by pulling some of these data sets. Hey, this would be good for my Venn-Gauge project down the road or something like that. So keep that in mind. How it's evaluated. All you do is email this to me. Does the data serve a journalistic or storytelling purpose? Be sure to justify that in your Google Doc. What's the quality of the data? Were you able to download it and send it to me? If not, if I get a bunch of links sent to me, here's a link to it in the data portal I didn't bother downloading, or I couldn't download it. If you can't download it, just move on, try another data set. That means it's just a really huge file that you would need, probably a special computer to download with. Or think of it in a more finite way. Instead of downloading 20 years of data, download 1 year of it or 2 years of it. And also, did you do a good job of explaining why you chose it and why you thought it was newsworthy, spelling, grammar, and so on? Be sure to put your name on the Google Doc. Do not send me a PDF. Oh, I hate PDFs with the power of 1,000 suns. You'll find out why when we get into scraping PDFs. If you have any questions, email me, but it's due Friday, January 28th at noon. So you have all these tools to work with. You shouldn't have any trouble finding the data sets. And like I say, students have enjoyed this assignment in the past, and I think that you'll get a good result with it too. So that's it for this video. We do have one more for this week. So make sure once you get this assignment done that you watch part 3, our third video, which will cover the U.S. Census. I've got a little handout on that. I'm going to show it in week 3 instead of week 2, or in our third video instead of our second video. And then also how to analyze a data set where you're going to scrape some data and you're going to do some analysis with it. That's all I had for now. We'll see you.